What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to talk about the CPI report that just came out about 15 minutes ago, what this means for the market moving forward as we're seeing a very, very big reaction, and how the numbers are looking in my personal opinion. But before I begin into all this information, before I get into any more details and talk about the CPI numbers, let me just mention a few things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. It was $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks, but then $1,000 and you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer ends very soon in just 3 weeks. Anyways, the main thing getting everyone's attention right now is CPI. So far, the numbers are all below expectations, which is a pretty good sign. That's why the market actually pushed a little bit higher. But the question is, can the market sustain these levels? So, core CPI month over month was at 0.1%. That's actually below expectations. Same thing with year over year. Core came out at 3.3% below expectations, which is not bad. Then month over month inflation for all items was at negative 0.1%. That's also below expectations. And then finally, year over year for the month of June, CPI was 3%, below expectations of 3.1%. So, like I said before, everything was below expectations. Initial jobless claims was also below expectations, which is showing a little bit of strength for the labor market. Overall, this is more of what the Fed wants, right? We don't want there to be way too much contraction in the labor market, and simultaneously, we want to see CPI continuing to hold up and looking below expectations. So that's what we're getting, and this is a little bit more positive for the Fed's policies and such. If we look at the charts like this on a month-over-month basis, you guys can see this is the first time we actually got a negative CPI rating, and this is why the market's a little bit more, optimistic about this. I think the market already kind of pumped and priced a lot of this in yesterday, but still has more room to go higher. But we're going to be watching some key resistance levels, and overall, this is still a decent sign. On top of this, when you look at the data, if you look at CPI without food and energy, there's a big downtrend over here for core CPI. And then for all items CPI, we're also seeing this decreasing again. This is actually the lowest we've seen it on a year over year basis in quite some time. So it's actually a very, very decent sign. But the question is, how will things move moving forward? Honestly, so far, this is a decent sign for the markets. I know that CPI is not entirely credible. People call it the CPI. I completely get it. But based off the data, progress is being made, and this is more positive for the Fed. When you look at the Fed's policies for July, the Fed is most likely going to keep rates the same. That's what the market's considering. But for September, the market thinks there's an 80% chance the Fed is going to cut rates one time. The Fed has not confirmed this, but this is what the market is essentially pricing in. The market thinks there's going to be one cut starting in September. We'll have to see if that's the case. We have many months until then, so we'll see how the data looks. As far as other pieces of news go, we have PepsiCo's earnings in Delta that came out. It's not going to talk too much about those. Instead, we also have the big bank earnings on Friday. I'll focus more on those. We have JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citi. As far as Tesla goes, don't forget that they're actually bumping some prices up due to the tariffs on China-made EVs by about 1,000 to about 1,600 euros, essentially. And that's actually very important. This is including prices increasing for the Model 3. A lot of them are actually made in Shanghai, so with tariffs going up, Tesla has to increase prices just a bit. Hopefully, it doesn't really affect their sales too much. And lastly, we actually have some news coming out that once again Tesla is, it rose for its 11th straight session, gained 44% during the hot streak it's been on, and Goldman Sachs lifted its price target to 248, suggesting there could be a little bit of a pullback coming, but they are still more bullish than before. So pretty good news for Tesla. What do we see for the share price? That's going to be the question. Tesla pushed all the way up towards 267.5. That's our resistance up here after we got the CPI reports. So not bad whatsoever. A little bit of a push did end up coming. However, I just wanted to make it very clear that we haven't been able to kind of hold above 265 quite yet. So I'll be watching these levels. If we manage to close above 265 today or hold above it, there's going to be more upside potential for 270 plus. If we fail to do so, if we end up projecting off 265 and we end up coming back down, make sure you watch 262.5 as key supports, not to mention 260. As right now, Tesla's holding up decently, is trying to fight this 265 resistance, but we're still within the range from yesterday. We're still stuck within this range. So Tesla is not officially broken past 267.5 to push to the 275 area, nor has it lost 260 to start sinking all the way down to 255 or 253, close to the 20 EMA. We're just range bound even after CPI came out. We are pushing a little bit, so just be careful. Tesla's going to likely continue to consolidate in this range for some time. It could even be a little push upon open, but make sure you watch and see where we close and how well we hold up above 265. That's going to be a tough resistance. Tesla could attempt to go a little bit higher, but even if that's the case, we're still range bound for now. So I just want to give you guys a warning about that. For SPY, we pumped just under basically 564, the level I had marked right here. We came just under that, and now we're kind of coming back down. So is this going to be like a pump and dump and we kind of reject and come back down to this imbalance, or are we going to continue to soar? To be bullish, you want to see us get back above 562.5 to start pushing higher. And if we reject, we're going to be looking for a loss of 560. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 558. Overall, we have a wick forming here, so just be a little bit careful with SPY, kind of pumped and dumped off CPI. CPI was actually very, very strong, very, very good data. The market did like it. That's why we got an initial pump. But sometimes these rumors are kind of like, or these pieces of news are like, buy the rumor, sell the news. So we'll see if we continue to hold above 562.5. If we fail to hold above that, there's going to be a risk of us returning back down to 560, if not lower levels. Sometimes that happens. So we'll see how things go. Notice how Bitcoin, it did get affected by CPI for the people who were questioning it yesterday. We're back up at 58,000, up almost 1.8%. If we go a little bit higher, I want to see if this can try to hold 58,000 or not. If it's a pump and dump, we're going to be dipping back down to 58,000 flat. And if that fails us, we're going to be coming back down. So we'll have to see if we could hold above 58,800 or not. That's going to be a very, very key level. It's going to be critical for how things end up continuing moving forward. For ES, we're continuing to store to about 5,700. We'll have to see if we break through this or not. If we reject here, we're going to be coming back down towards 5,650. If we break through this, we're going to be going a little bit higher. So watch resistance at 5,700, and let's see what kind of reaction we get. I do think ES could push a little bit higher, but resistance is going to be kind of tough at 5,700, so give it some time. Same thing with the QQQ. We kind of pushed all the way up to 505, the exact level we had marked over here. But notice how we didn't really hold it. We came right back down to 503. If we lose this, we're going to be dipping back down to 501, then 499. So just be careful, guys. See if we get a rejection on the QQQ. Now we're forming a big wick here. So this could be kind of like a pump and dump. Sometimes it's like a buy the rumor, sell the news event with CPI. So just be a little bit careful. And we'll have to see what kind of reaction we get. Can we hold above 503 and start pushing higher, or do we end up losing and start dipping back down? Watch that very carefully. Right now, the QQQ is showing some mixed signals. Aapl pushed just under 234. That was my target. So we came just short of that. Now we're going to be looking to see how well we hold above basically 232.5. If we fail to hold it, I'm looking at 231.5 as our next support. That's going to be our key level. If we lose that, we're going to come back down to 230. If we hold this, we could try to rebound to 234. So watch 231.5. There is a risk of Aapl kind of coming down a bit. So I want to be a little bit more careful with this. I want to give you guys a warning about how it's reacting after CPI just came out. If we look at Coinbase, we pumped all the way up to 223, good sign, but we haven't broken our 50 EMA. To be bullish, you want to break 224.69. If we fail to do so, we're going to be coming back down. Watch support at 222. If that fails, we're going to see a bigger dip all the way down to like 218 again. So watch to see if you hold or not. For Amazn has resistance at 200, and we have support at 197.5. We've been stuck within this range this whole time. We haven't been able to break through that. You guys can see we're trying to break 200. We're kind of struggling so far. I want to see it break 200 to turn bullish. If we close above that, look for 202. If we fail to do so, we're going to be coming back down, so watch for that. For Meta, we're also trading sideways. Make sure you watch support at 529. If we lose this, we're coming down to 519. If we hold this, we could try to rebound, but I'm seeing some signs that it might try to cool off a bit. Same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft might be retesting 462.9. If we lose that, we're coming back down to 457. Watch and see, it might dip a little bit towards 462. So I'm going to give that a little bit more time. And last but not least, we have Google. Google might dip a little bit. It kind of pumped a bit for about 193.5. It's a little bit short of my target, but now it's coming back down. We might retest our 20 EMA at 190. If we lose that, 188 is coming. If you hold this, we could try to rebound. So watch that very, very carefully. Anyways, that's it for the video, guys. If you look at the way Tesla's moving, we're still below the 265 resistance. It's a tough resistance. I do think Tesla may attempt to go a little higher upon open, but just be careful because we're still range bound on Tesla, and resistance is very, very tough at 265. So we'll see if Tesla's going to get a rejection here and start turning, or if we're about to go higher. It all depends on how we end up reacting to this range. So if you look at these two yellow lines, guys, look at the yellow lines above and below. That's our range. We'll see which way Tesla goes. Just be careful. So far, it kind of looks to me like the market may kind of pump and dump. But just to be safe, let's watch for confirmation. CPI was decent. Yes, the market kind of priced a lot of that in. That's why it pumped a little higher. But now it's showing some signs that it might actually cool off a bit. So just be careful. We will see, just to be safe. So watch the price action for confirmation. And I'll see you guys again in just a couple of hours. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, guys, and peace out.